Hi everyone, this is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and today I wanted to get to know Tracy Walton a little bit. Hi Tracy.
Hi there, Ryan.
Yeah. So, what is your background then?
Well, I've been a massage therapist for about 21 years, since 1990. I graduated from the Muscular Therapy Institute, which is now Cortiva Institute, Boston. And before that, I did my master's in cell biology, biochemistry, molecular biology, sort of the kind of junction of those three disciplines. And so after I graduated, I taught physiology and pathology at the Muscular Therapy Institute then, and for 13 years, and chaired the science department, and eventually became the academic dean. So I was really wrapped up a lot in massage education within a school setting at that time, and certainly since then, because I've taught oncology massage since 1998. And I've worked in a lot of different settings. I've worked in spas and some in the hospital setting and private practice. But one of my first loves is really the massage classroom, whether it's a basic massage program or continuing education setting. I really just thrive in the classroom. So that's the basics of where I've been and where I've gone. Also, actually, just briefly, I've done a little bit of massage research, mostly on massage and cancer care, teaching caregivers how to massage safely. I helped make a DVD home instruction program on that, and also professional massage, looking at professional massage and how it can help people with cancer.
Okay. And I remember for myself back in the 90s when I went through massage school, it was frustrating because they would say 4 to 6 weeks at least, or you have to get permission from this doctor, then that doctor. There was a lot of systems you had to go through in order to get permission for cancer and stuff. Has it changed over the years, would you say?
Oh, that certainly has changed a lot. I mean, we really taught that massage therapy was contraindicated for people with cancer for so many years. And that has shifted a lot, in large part due to the work of some colleagues of mine. Gail McDonald and Deborah Curtis wrote a lot about that in the early 90s, around when you were in school, it sounds like. And so that's shifting a lot, and the hoops, there's still a lot of concerns about working with people with cancer. To do it safely, you need a lot of information and some background and preferably some training. But overall, there's a whole subspecialty in oncology massage. There's a whole society for oncology massage that formed a few years ago, and so things are really changing a lot.
And it seems like a lot of hospitals are starting to adapt even programs or talking about cancer in massage too and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you see that growing even more over in the near future, or do you think it's going to take some time to?
Oh, definitely. There's so much more interest, such growing interest in massage and how it can act in or play a role in support of cancer care and along anyone's medical journey, not just through cancer, but any complex situation, any health crisis, how massage therapy might provide some really needed companionship during that time.
Okay, and then I mean your work is mostly oncology massage, but how did you move into general massage and pathology then, and how do the two relate then?
Well, that's a good question, because first and foremost, I was a pathology teacher from, I think around 1991 or so, maybe 92, around there, I started teaching pathology. It was really a new subject in the massage therapy curriculum at the time. We didn't have any textbooks, widely used textbooks on that subject at all. Ruth Werner helped teach our pathology curriculum. It was pretty limited in time and scope at that time, but she was really at the forefront of all of that. And I taught pathology and worked on how to work safely in the student clinic. Really did a lot of work around massage therapy contraindications and guidelines for lots of different medical conditions throughout, especially throughout that time, through 2003, and I still do, because even though I've moved into this additional specialty of massage and cancer care and oncology massage, cancer is an incredibly complex condition. It's more than one condition. It's several hundred diseases with lots of different client presentations within that. So it's really, if you can sort out all the issues and massage guidelines and adaptations to work with someone with cancer, especially someone in treatment or with advanced cancer, you can kind of do it for anything. So I really felt like the model that I developed for working with cancer worked so well when thinking as a framework for thinking about people with diabetes or with heart disease or osteoporosis that was advanced or metabolic syndrome, just all these really complicated things. The methods that I was using in massage and cancer care applied very easily over to just general pathology. So I really, my basic work was in massage and pathology, and then I built on that to create oncology massage curriculum.
And do you think oncology is kind of your passion right now then?
I really feel like it's that's most of what I do during the day. For the 5-6 years that I was writing my textbook in pathology, it was much more general, and I continue to think as a generalist. But I actually feel like whatever we can do to get the safety issues and the contraindications issues and the basic massage guidelines out of the way for any condition that someone is experiencing, any disease state, any condition, whatever we can do to get that wrapped up makes us more available to that person to really be fully present with them as a massage therapist through skilled touch. And I think whatever we can do, we have some great pathology texts on the market. We have some great pathology teachers out there. Mm-hmm. We have some massage therapists who are working away very quietly behind the scenes in hospitals with lots of different special populations. Whatever we can do to foster that and really be a companion to someone on a health journey, no matter what the condition is. There are things about heart conditions, about diabetes, about some rare blood disorders that are just as terrifying as cancer. And people can benefit just as much from the skilled touch of a massage therapist, especially when that massage therapist has worked out all the things about how to work safely. When they've gotten that thinking work done and that bit of research done, then they can show up with their heart and their hands and their presence. And I think that's what I'm about, is helping massage therapists do that.
And I think the massage instructors, too, have to keep up to date on all this, because things do change all the time, too. And
you're right. Medications change, right?
Yep.
Procedures change. I feel like when I wrote my book, Medical Conditions in Massage Therapy, which just came out about a year ago, I wrote it with massage instructors in mind, because I think they get lobbed so many different kinds of questions, whether they're in simply teaching massage technique, which is not simple at all, especially when you deal with student questions, whether they're in the student clinic, whether they're in the sciences, no matter what they're teaching, student questions, what if this, what if a client with this, arise all the time. And I really felt when I wrote this textbook that it was impossible to memorize the volumes of information it would take to answer those questions. Does that make sense?
Yep, definitely.
And that instead we needed general principles and tools to answer those questions, so that our teachers didn't have to memorize all of that, but they could show students how to get the answers for themselves and kind of guide them in the clinical thinking process, rather than being able to spout volumes of medical information. I can't keep up with all the medical.
There's no way to, yeah.
So yeah. My heart is any massage teacher in any setting, and
Yeah.
I wrote the book to support them and serve them in that way.
And even when I was in practice, I always had like a pathology book and other books around, just because so I could always reference those kind of things, because you can't be an expert all the time. And I love it when doctors, when I ask them questions, they actually look them up. I actually thank them for doing those kind of things, because I don't expect them to know everything. And you know.
Yeah, the real key is how to find the answers and how to use the tools that you have. I love it that you were surrounded with several books and you could pull from them,
Yep.
And we can create materials ourselves that we keep on file that we can pull from. The first time you see a client with rheumatoid arthritis, making a few notes in a chart or a few notes in a file drawer or on the computer means you can pull on that the second time that you see someone with rheumatoid arthritis.
Yep, exactly. And what is the main focus on your text then?
Well, it's a general pathology and massage text, and it's got a few specific tools. One of the things I developed in the classroom, because I was desperate to have this in the classroom, was a 5-level massage pressure scale that I put together with a fair amount of help. Gail McDonald and did some really good descriptions of pressure, and I added to that and modified that, and it's in use today. It's 5 levels of pressure. It's used in a lot of classrooms and hospitals now, and since so many massage contraindications or pressure contraindications, if you use the book, students and therapists can go to the book and then see what is the right level of pressure for this condition or for that condition or so on. So that's one of the key players in the book. And then in general, the massage contraindications or guidelines are described in very concrete terms, such as limit your pressure to 3 on that area, or don't use care with your joint movement in this person with osteoporosis, or avoid friction on this area, or contact on this area. So they're not only very specific, but the massage contraindications are described for different presentations of a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Disease, there's no one-size-fits-all massage guideline for someone with diabetes. I can think of one person with diabetes who presents very differently from another person with diabetes. And one person with cancer has all these things going on, and another person with cancer does not. So the book, our massage approach is based on the client's symptoms and their complications and the effects of their medical treatments, and so the book is really customized. So all of that information, since, as you said, it can be so overwhelming.
Yep.
It's actually organized in a decision tree format, which is a bunch of boxes and arrows telling you what to do and not to do. So it's very visual and it's really easy to use, because I think a lot of massage therapists are visual learners and not maybe so auditory. And for that reason, I included interview questions for each condition. So ask the client this. If they answer this way, this is how you're going to adapt your massage. So it's incredibly concrete. I mean, there are a lot of other features in the book, but that describes the basic approach so that people really come out with concrete answers of, what do I say to this person? If they answer, if I put this on my interview question, I hand them a clipboard and I read the answer, then and they answer it a certain way, what does that mean for the massage? So it's really, really concrete and specific.
And is there a place where people can actually view it or sample it?
Yeah, they can go to the Lippincott Waves and Wilkins website at lww.com, and massage schools can obviously order a free review copy if they're considering adopting it for a course to take a look at it. And there are ancillary materials online about the book, so it's lww.com.
Okay. And then my understanding is you're getting webinars going now. So what got you involved in webinars?
Well, I really liked the webinar format for teaching because I got into this work, into massage and massage education, like you, like a lot of people, like most people. I really wanted to serve people. And with a webinar, you can you have a really broad reach. You really can serve and support a lot of different people. Massage therapists, educators, students, clients, consumers, etc. So I really like the webinar format for teaching. When Benjamin approached me a while ago and to do these, I was really excited about them. I did a webinar series first entitled Massage and Cancer Care for the Benjamin Institute. It was last spring of 2011, and those are available as recordings, obviously now, and CEUs and all that. But I just felt like they were incredibly well received, and it's like a book, but it's more interactive and much more visual. It's more dynamic even than a book. So you can really reach so many people in the way that you can when you write a textbook.
And can people ask questions during the webinars, the live webinars, or?
If you attend live, you can ask questions. We obviously don't get to every question, but I I try to answer whatever I can in the series as they come up. But and then if people want to ask questions on Facebook at Dr. Benjamin's website, in the week following, I'll answer those questions on Facebook. So that's fun. And I ask the viewers questions too. I say, what do you think about this? And I get a flurry of responses back and work them into my presentation.
And what's your current webinar? What is it called then?
The current webinar is called Blood Clots, Blood Pressure, and Heart Disease, Common Cardiovascular Conditions and Massage.
Okay. And why did you choose that topic, would you say?
Well, I had really noticed in my classrooms how many massage therapists had there were a couple things going on in my classroom, my oncology massage classrooms and my pathology classrooms and clinics. I noticed that, first of all, there were a lot of misconceptions about cardiovascular conditions and massage, and lots of temptation to follow a one-size-fits-all approach. I came across so many people working very gently on our clients in the clinic who had hypertension, and I knew that person could take deeper pressure, and they wanted deeper pressure, but that person, the massage therapist, had been taught, I need to work lightly with everyone with high blood pressure. And you do need to with some people in some places, but it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And so people were working both too carefully, in my view, and sometimes without the proper precautions, in my view. So I really wanted to clear up some misconceptions. And at the same time, in my classrooms, students were coming in with amazing stories. And I hear all these stories because I'm in the classroom, hundreds and hundreds of stories of, I had a client with this, I had a client with this. This is what the doctor told me, this is what the client told me, this is what I did, this is how they responded. And I really felt so strongly that those stories could be shared and appreciated by a wider audience that and a lot of them were about really common conditions, hypertension, blood clots. It seems like every single time, not every person, but every time I have gone out to teach, in almost every classroom actually, someone's got a blood clot story, a very compelling one. And it's often, it's almost always it's a success story of a therapist catching the symptoms of a blood clot and getting that client to needed medical care. I really felt like those stories about working with people with high blood pressure, people with end-stage congestive heart failure, or with people who'd survived heart attacks or were living with angina, all of these stories really needed someone to share them with a wider audience, and also to kind of plug them into our thinking framework of how do we think about working with these people and how do we work with them successfully. So I really was drawn to this specifically, and therapists tell me I have so many questions on this topic that haven't been answered yet, even though we have fabulous texts in massage therapy and pathology in massage therapy and instructors on that there are still some unanswered questions.
So you explained a little bit about what they could possibly learn in the blood clot webinar. Is there any other things that you'll be going over in depth to?
In the other webinars,
Yep.
you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be devoting a whole webinar to hypertension and hypotension, which is low blood pressure and massage therapy, and looking at what questions do we ask the client with hypertension, how do we modify massage for them, how do we not work too conservatively, and yet conservatively enough so the client's really safe, and why it's not only important but pretty easy to adapt to the effects of medication for hypertension, high blood pressure medications. And we'll be looking at, in one on heart disease, we'll be looking all at angina, heart attack, and massage therapy. And what interview questions, I introduced something called the 4 activity questions that help us figure out how strongly we need to work, we can work, what the client might be able to tolerate, and what's too much, how to adjust the massage pressure, even spa services, which spa services might need to be adapted for people with heart disease, and how to, once again, adapting, like you said, to the medications. And then I have one on congestive heart failure with specific interview questions, how we adapt to massage, how a really basic principle that I call the filter and pump principle can guide your session so you don't have to memorize a lot of different factoids about congestive heart failure or any other heart disease and massage. And then I have a whole webinar on case studies at the end where we'll pull in, remember I spoke about all these stories that were so great, I'll pull in a lot of those stories. I'm going to use case studies throughout. I do use case studies throughout the webinar series, but the last one will be really reinforcing a lot of the messages from the earlier ones.
And what will people take away from the other webinars in the series? Is there any other things? I mean, can they view these webinars later?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And they can view them and actually earn CE credit for them too if they choose to take a short quiz at the end. And I expect it to still be fresh and relevant for a long time. It's true that medications change and procedures, medical practice changes. But if you have the principles of working with cardiovascular conditions, then those principles don't change a lot. And you can adapt to, if something new comes down the road 2 years from now, a new drug or a new procedure, if you have these principles that I share in the webinars, then you can adapt to that changing information pretty easily.
And then the process for them signing up for the webinars is pretty simple then, or?
Yes, you actually go to the Benjamin Institute at benbenjamin.com and click on webinars, and you can see not only my massage and cancer care series, but the common cardiovascular conditions in massage, the blood clots, blood pressure, and heart disease series, as well as he's got so many webinars and webinar series on demand. And what I really like about it is if you don't want to commit to a whole series, you just want to purchase a single webinar to try it out, and you like it, and you want to view the whole series, then the Institute will apply your payment for the single webinar to the purchase of the whole series, and you'll also get of course, the discounted series price. I think it's it's certainly advantageous to purchase a series of 6 or 7 or whatever. It's less than if you purchase them each individually. Buy in bulk, I think, is the approach.
Yep.
And send you a link, and you're on.
And do the students need pretty fast internet at all to view them at all, would you say, or?
Well, it's spelled out in the flyers that are going out about these series, the system requirements.
Okay.
And when you get on the website, you can see what those system requirements. This is where we're going to leap off the cliff of the technology that I don't know about. So
Okay.
I'll try to answer those questions.
Okay. And then for continuing education class, I mean, can they get that right afterwards, or is there a process at all?
I think what happens is they take a short quiz, and they can, if they get a certain number of answers correct, then they print off the certificate right there. So it's pretty easy, and it's not the same as face-to-face teaching, but it's still really dynamic. And you can get a lot of information very quickly. And I think especially in the webinars that I put together, that information is supposed to be applicable to a lot of different client situations. So it counts for a lot.
Yeah, and especially at this day and age too. I mean, some people are hard up for money. I mean, the whole recession and everything else, it just makes it more convenient for everybody and more affordable.
I think so.
Yep. And just imagine just having you in their own living room, basically, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine what all those living rooms look like.
Yep. Yep.
And one time I said in a webinar, I said, so, would you like a webinar on, I did a poll, I said, would you like a webinar on blood clots, on diabetes, on these other things, on hypertension, and be able to sit in your jammies and watch the webinar and learn in that format, and there was a flurry of yeses from the folks, the registrants in the webinar, but one person she wrote in, she said, I'm already in my jammies, thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Yep. But it just seems like so much massage education is going that route too, so it's convenience too, so.
Yeah.
Yep. And do you see yourself doing any more of these in the near future then?
Yes, we tentatively have some more planned, not for right away, but for next year in massage and cancer care for specific cancer types. We're certainly thinking about that, and I have ideas about webinars. Once you get going, if you're a teacher, you're always planning new classes, right? And
yep.
New courses. So I am thinking a lot about. I have a background as a researcher, and I know we don't always use massage research very well when we quote it. There's a real need to be able to evaluate research on a basic level, not a really advanced level, and be able to use the good research and to not overstate the claims. And there are a lot of different myths that we have about massage, flushing toxins out of the body, or even raising general circulation is questionable, or lowering cortisol, or things like that. A lot of different things that we've been telling our clients that massage actually does, and we don't have data on that, or the data point in the other direction, or they don't really support our claims. And so I dream, if there's an audience for this, massage therapists wanting to know about this, about doing a sort of myth-busting piece in massage, and how can we use the research out there really well and solidly support our work and make us more credible in the eyes of the public and in healthcare.
Yep. And it seems like so many people are scared of the word research too.
It is an intimidating word,
yep.
Isn't it?
Yep.
One of the best things that someone ever told me, a researcher herself, was that, and a massage therapist, was that research is really just a collection of stories. And I really feel like that research is a collection of stories, and the way it's written can be really dry and pretty intimidating. Research isn't always very well written. Sometimes it's inaccessible because it's not well written. It's not very clearly written. But really, every data point in a piece of research, in human subjects research, every massage of a person, every one of those is a story of a person and a massage therapist and a moment of touch. And it's kind of sterile by the time those things get collected together, but those individual stories, it's pretty incredible to imagine if you were part of the study about massage post-op after heart surgery, or if you were part of a study about cancer symptoms and massage. It's pretty incredible to think about how that individual might have been affected. Maybe they weren't affected at all. Maybe they were affected a lot. But that's an individual story, and there's a lot of texture and life in that. And so when I teach about research, which I do a lot at different conventions, I try to remember the life behind all of that and bring that out and appreciate it.
Yep. And last year I went to Oncology Summit. I can't remember the exact initials and stuff for that.
Healing Summit?
Yeah. So that was very impressive with all the information and all of the big names in the oncology field and stuff were there. And
one of my favorite conferences ever.
Yep.
One of my favorite conferences is the Oncology Massage Healing Summit. And you and I were both in Bloomington, in Minneapolis, right?
Yep.
That's where it's being held again in 2013.
Okay. And that's convenient for me because it's only an hour and a half away. So.
That's awesome. I actually am tempted to close down my Skype and go look up the actual date right now, but it's in April, I believe, of 2013.
Okay.
You know where, if people are interested in that conference, they can find out information and save the date information at the Society for Oncology Massage, which is S4om.org. S4om.org.
Yep, and they don't hold it every year, so it's was it 3 years or something? Or Yep. So
they're the same cycle as the Massage Therapy Foundation conference appears to be.
And are you going to be teaching at that one too? Do you know yet, or?
At the Massage Therapy Foundation conference, I haven't been invited or submitted yet. It's kind of early on for that one that I know of, but I think I will certainly be in attendance at the the Oncology Massage Healing Summit.
Okay.
And kind of trying to cook up something about something to present there.
Okay. And what's your goals for the next year then? What kind of things are you going to be doing?
You are the first person who's asked me what my goals are for next year. Ask what the goals are for next year. I am focusing a lot on in several directions, which when you have too many directions you're focusing on, it's hard to focus, right?
Yep.
Mostly two directions. I am working a lot on continuing to refine my 4-day course, which is called Oncology Massage Therapy, Caring for Clients with Cancer. And that's offered in, I think, about 6 different major cities. Next year, 4 or 5 trainings in Boston, where I'm based, and we'll be in Seattle and Chicago and Waldoboro, Maine, and Hartford, Connecticut, and we're thinking Hoboken, New Jersey, as far as we know. But that schedule's still being nailed down, and really refining that. I just recently expanded from 3 days to 4 days, and that's a teacher's dream. So it's been incredibly well received, but I'm always trying to make that course better. And I am also working a lot on my online work, working on these webinars and refining the way those are taught, and we'll be tooling and retooling the work on cancer for the next series scheduled for the spring. I don't know what's after that, but I think chasing my child around.
Okay. And conferences or conventions in the next year or so, are you going to be at any? Do you know offhand?
And I bet you will be at this one too.
Yeah.
The association. No, sorry. Hang on. I have to channel the acronyms. The Alliance for Massage Therapy Education.
Yep.
I don't think they've yet announced the date, but I will definitely be at that one. I thought the last one was fabulous. What did you think of it?
Yeah, people just loved it, and they even liked the little breakout sessions, even though there's arguments and discussions and things in those. But that was a good thing. We need to vocalize what we want in the massage profession.
Yeah, I saw lots of spirited argument and agreement and community and kind of a kinship among massage therapy educators. That was one heck of a conference, and I can't wait to find out the date because I'll be getting it into my calendar and building around it as possible.
But it's so nice. Educators are actually getting educated.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of times we forget about ourselves and stuff. So.
Absolutely, we need that as much as anyone else does. And so my first conference was last year, and that's one that I plan to attend regularly. I'm actually looking up at my calendar to see what next year looks like in terms of conferences, and I think several of them are still kind of settling out.
Yeah. And any talks of new books at all?
I dream of a couple of different titles, and certainly a second edition of Medical Conditions and Massage Therapy. I'm excited about doing that at some point. It's not on the table right now because the book just came out. But I am thinking about a couple titles, and I can say with certainty that they won't be out in the next year.
Yeah, because I know with those big publishers and stuff, it takes a while to.
Yeah, and I don't want to be precious about it, but I'm how you have some ideas and you kind of want to hold them close and incubate them for a while, and so in that process, but it's a fun thing to think about.
Will at least be on massage then?
It'll be
okay.
It'll the touch world, and I think another project for the next year is I worked on this wonderful DVD home instruction program teaching caregivers how to do massage for their loved ones with cancer. It's called Touch, Caring, and Cancer. And you can look at my website, tracywalton.com, for you can look at a 5-minute trailer and a 16-minute trailer to a 5-minute trailer on that, where we're really responding to lay people and who need some confidence and permission to touch each other during important times, like when one of them has cancer. And I wasn't part of the original vision of the video, but in terms of how it was ultimately going to look, I really designed the curriculum for teaching lay people how to work safely with their loved ones with cancer. The person who was in charge of the vision was William Collins, and he really had a sense of what this needed to look and feel and sound like. And the DVD won a couple of Telly Awards in the health and another in healthcare and also in social justice or social issues. And the end product was I feel like I can say this wholeheartedly. The end product was beautiful. It is stunning. And he really took this vision of helping people touch their loved ones during such an important time and gave it form. I just worked on the curriculum of it, but I dream and think about what are the wider applications, what are the other populations of lay people who need to be taught how to touch each other. We've had it kind of professionalized. You have to go to a massage therapist to get good touch, but we all know how to touch each other, and just how do we do it safely, and how do we increase our skills in something that is such a natural human impulse. So another thing I'm thinking about is how to help people in all sorts of places touch and touch well. Yeah,
and the average public needs it so much too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's my next year. I wonder what your next year is about. I'm sure you're going to be pretty busy too.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, I'd say. Yeah, constantly working behind the scenes, going to all the conferences, and working more videos, of course. So,
yep. Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand too what a wonderful platform it is. The internet gives us to learn about each other and learn about what's going on and get new information and enhance our skills and touch each other in different ways.
Yep. And what is the best way for people to get a hold of you then?
Through my website.
Okay.
Tracy Walton and Associates is at www.tracywalton.com, and Tracy Walton is spelled TracyWalton.
Okay. And then your webinar, it's starting next week, is it?
The webinar series begins, and I'm going to look up at my calendar, October 11th, Tuesday, October 11th, and it extends through Tuesday nights through November 15th. But remember, it's so important to underscore this, that people do not have to attend live. The recordings will be available indefinitely as far as we're concerned. So people can always tap into that, that information and knowledge, and I hope wisdom about massage and cardiovascular conditions.
Yes, definitely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure today talking to you, Tracy, and I've learned so much about you, and I definitely want to learn more about you and take one of your classes in the near future.
Thanks so much, Ryan. It was a pleasure to talk with you as well.
Yep. Thanks.